Hi there, everybody. Got another video from Parkway Technology Solutions, parkwaytech.com. I'm Chris Michaelek, the president of Parkway Tech. What I want to cover today is your backup strategy for your business. Now, ideally what you need in this world is a multi-pronged backup strategy. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that you've got multiple backups of important data. This is critical because what we're seeing now is new viruses, hackers, all sorts of attacks go in after your backups. So let's begin with the easiest one, the one that hopefully you've already got, and that's what we call a local backup. A local backup goes to an external hard drive on one of the computers, maybe on your server if that's where you store all your data. It might also back up to a network-attached storage device called a NAS on your network. But essentially it means that the important data on your computer systems and of course on your server are backing up locally. Now, the advantage to a local backup is speed. It's much quicker. It just happens. It goes through. It doesn't take long at all. And obviously restoration is also very quick. The downside of a local backup, especially with ransomware, where the crypto locker type things where it'll encrypt your data, is that these local backups are also being encrypted. So now that's a pretty frightening thing to think that you could have a backup and it still wouldn't be usable if one of these ransomware things gets on your computer systems, but it's entirely true. That also applies if, let's say, you're backing up your computers to a central server. That's a good idea. It's an easy restoration. A lot of the Windows Server operating systems for smaller businesses come with these features built in. There's nothing you need to manage. It just happens. It alerts you if there's a problem. So it makes life really easy. But again, it's susceptible to this ransomware. And this ransomware is something we're seeing more and more. According to a recent report that I saw from a government agency, over 4,000 infections per day were happening with this ransomware. That's nuts. So the local backup is not going to be enough. And one other thing on local backups, if you're backing up to an external hard drive, that's fine, but keep in mind that those have a relatively high failure rate, so you always want to be testing those backups at a regular interval. Last thing you want to do is find out after you've been running backups for 6 months, a year, and then something happens and you need to restore, that you can't actually restore the data. It wasn't actually there. So test your backups regularly. Now, the second part of a good backup strategy, so you've got your local backups. If you're not doing that, get something in place, is to have an offsite backup. Now, there are many options for this. There's Carbonite. I know Mozy's another big one. Everybody and their uncle has some sort of offsite backup. In fact, for our clients, what we provide is an offsite backup to servers that we actually house in a local data center here in Winston-Salem. So that way we've got full control, we've got easy access. If something needs to come off of there, we can just drive to the data center, pull it off, and take it to client's office. Makes life easy. But whatever solution you use, you need a good offsite backup. Now, the downside of offsite backup are two things. So it's slow to get your data up there because it's dependent on the speed of your internet connection and how quickly it can transfer. And it's slow to bring it back down if you need to restore. So if you need to restore a few files, it's not going to be a problem. Carbonite, anything like that's going to be just as quick with an offsite backup. But if you need to restore an entire system, or God help you, several systems on a network, offsite backup, while it can be done, is not exactly an ideal solution. But an offsite backup does protect you from things like the ransomware infections we were talking about. Because it's safely stored at another data center, there's an encrypted connection, the ransomware can't just go out over that connection and change things. It does mean that you're well protected. Now, one note about offsite backups, and that's that these cannot be confused with what we call file syncing and sharing solutions. And those would be things like Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox. Those sorts of solutions are just a file sync and share, and because they store things locally and then sync the changes up to the cloud, if you're hit with a ransomware infection, those are going to be hit as well. And at this point, there's no easy way to say, let me just go back to 2 days ago from these. So for Dropbox, it's a painful process where each individual file has to be reverted back to a previous version. And if you're like most businesses, and if you're using Dropbox, which is a fine solution if you've got Dropbox for Business, don't get me wrong, it's just not a backup solution because you'll be taking days to go back and have to try to restore these files individually rather than being able to quickly click a button and it goes back to before the ransomware attack hit, unlike a offsite backup where you can do that. So let's recap. You got to have a multi-pronged strategy, and this means a good local backup for your computers. And let me say one other thing on that, and that's that if you have any important data on any of your desktop computers, and trust me you do, because even if you're saying, hey, everything needs to be saved to the server, I go into networks all the time. We know where those files are saved. Employees save stuff to their desktop, locally to their My Documents on their computer. You need to at least be backing that information up locally. Then you also need an off-site backup solution as well, because you want to make sure that you've got your systems protected. So that off-site backup, again, protects you from the ransomware, protects you from those evolving threats that we see. So if your systems are wiped out, and also just, let's be honest, if your system's wiped out in an office fire, a big natural disaster, a tree falls on your building or something like that, these are not outside the realm of possibility, although they are very rare, thankfully. You want to have that off-site backup solution in place. So if you've got a good local backup for your systems, for your servers, and you've got an off-site backup as well for that important information, you should be set. And again, Dropbox, Google Drive, those sorts of things, they don't count as an off-site backup solution. They're great for file syncing and sharing, but they are not the same as backup. Now, if you check pricing, you're going to see that this can get a little expensive to do. Now, at Parkway Tech, we've got some options for you, so reach out to us. You can email us info@parkwaytech.com, call us 336-310-9888, get in touch with us. But if you're storing a lot of data like most businesses, you're going to find out the off-site backup gets expensive. But just one word on that, and that's how important is your business data, right? I mean, it's something you need to do. You can say, well, maybe nothing will happen. And maybe nothing will. Maybe you'll get out of it. But we've seen too many businesses being hit by these ransomware attacks. And of course, then there's just the fact that computers fail, drives fail all the time. If you don't have a backup in place, you're playing the lottery with your business and hoping that nothing bad is going to happen. And I guarantee you, when you least need it, it will. So get your backup strategy in place. If you need any help, reach out to us here at Parkway Tech. If you find this video helpful, there's going to be something coming up, giving you our Facebook page information, Twitter, YouTube. Please share this video, would you? I want to get the message out, let people know what they need to do for basic backup strategy. So if you found this video helpful, please share it. Again, I'm Chris Michaelek, president of Parkway Tech, parkwaytech.com. Thanks so much for watching.